Right, who wants a little story time?
Well, let's see. I'm gonna say almost a year ago. I was staying with a friend of mine,
And he liked to fly his drones around.
a lot. He liked to crash them a lot. He didn't really care. I think the guy went through like a drone a month, and I mean these things are like $1,200-$1,500 each. I guess he could afford it, but I couldn't.
So he flew his drone one day into a tree in the front yard of where we were living. Now, he probably flew it up about 640 to, I was going to say more like 60 feet, 65 feet. Okay. And the damn thing was up there for 4 months. We went through winter, spring, and I thought, man, I wonder if it's still up there even. And I got a telescope. I brought my telescope out and I could see it. I thought maybe the wind, a storm or something had probably knocked it down and somebody grabbed it and it was gone forever. So I'm like, wow, I tried climbing the tree. No luck. Branches were just not working out for me. Backyard doing some cleaning one day, and all of a sudden I see all these little 4-foot metal aluminum poles or whatever. They're almost like 10 poles, or not 10 poles. I don't know. They're about 3/4 of an inch thick, hollow, but they connected together. So there was enough of them where I could build this pole like 60 feet high in these 4-foot sections. And I'm like, whoa! Like, so I built this 60-foot pole. I got it in the front yard, and I'm like, oh, I don't think I can lift this. I could do this myself, right? So I go and ask my buddy inside, who's just sitting there chilling, watching a movie with his girl. And man, I feel horrible for what happened. But so I go and ask him, and he's like, yeah, sure, dude. I'll come give you a hand. And yeah, so sorry guys, I had to jump on the bus there. So where was I? I called my buddy out. He was chilling with his girl watching a movie. And I'm like, yeah, his name's Cash. Yo, Cash, man, can you help me get this drone out of the tree? It's been up there for like a year almost. He's like, yeah, man, sure, I can come do that. And so he comes out anyways, blah, blah, blah. And we lift this pole together and we're starting, pushing it up the tree, and we can see the drone, and we're so close to it. And then with the two of us holding this pole, we're like kind of trying to knock it out. And this pole, because it was built with these 4-foot sections, had so much like lean to it, like it would bend right back. And I look and I'm like, whoa, dude, there's telephone poles there. We need to be like super, super careful. And he's like, yeah, I know. So I'm like, wait a minute, this is too dangerous. I go and grab a ladder and I set it up against the tree, and I had like a cane with a hook on it. And so I'm like, here, I'll climb up the ladder as high as I can go, and I'll use the cane to stop the pole from going back. That way we don't hit the power wires, right? And he's like, yeah, okay, good idea. I go up and I'm like, okay, wait, I'm in the wrong spot. I go, Cash, hold on. I'm gonna come down, move the ladder, and then we'll go again. Don't do nothing. Okay, he says. So I get down, I move the ladder, and he's sitting there holding his pole up in the air still. And he's saying, I'm like, Cash, hold on, buddy. And all of a sudden, as I'm bending over to move the ladder, and I hear, oh shit. And I look up, and I see this pole just bending back, and and as soon as I look down and I look at him, at my buddy Cash, boom, he just starts frying on this power wire. Like, I'm talking 60,000 volts of pure unharnessed energy. I was shit in pan, and I thought he was dead. Okay, so here, get this. So the pole's now on the wire. He's holding it, and he's convulsing with 60,000 volts of electricity going through his body. His hands get shot off the pole. With dumb luck, he falls into the pole, and he's leaning on this pole as it's shooting electricity, and he's leaning on this pole for like an extra 5 seconds, and then all of a sudden, when the pole slides off the wire, boom! He turned into a ball of fire. Like, I'm serious. Fire was coming out of his mouth, his nose, his ears. He was just like this ball of like white electricity fire. I don't know how to explain it. And he's smoking. I run inside the house and I'm like, I'm in shock. Like, I'm in so much shock. And I'm like, yo, he's dead. Like, you guys got to call 911. And they're like, what do you mean he's dead? I'm like, Cash, man, he just got electrocuted. What do you mean he got electrocuted? His girl runs out. She's like, what do you mean he got electrocuted? And there he is. He's laying there and he's just smoking. And I'm like, oh my God. So I thought he was dead. Like, I honestly did. And so he starts kind of moving and then his girlfriend runs up there. And she's like, he needs CPR. And so she starts like, because she didn't think he was breathing. So she's like, starts to give him mouth to mouth. And she got the biggest shock, just putting her lips on his. And she was like, his spit was boiling. And I'm like, oh my God. And then he starts trying to get up. So we've called the paramedics. Paramedics are now, about 4 or 5 minutes. They're coming, and they get there. Now he's trying to get up and he's trying to walk into the house. I don't know why. I figured it was just because maybe he thought that was like his safe zone or something and it wouldn't have happened. And wow, this guy's nuts over here. So anyways, he stands up and he's got tattoos on his arms and they looked brand new because like the skin looked like a loose pair of socks on your ankles and they just dropped from the shoulder all the way down to his wrist. F-U-C. Wow, there's a Vancouver nut bar. Vancouver nut bars everywhere. Anyways, I'll check you back in a minute. Okay, so I'm back. So yeah, so now his girl's sitting there and she's just freaking out. Ambulance gets there, Cash is trying to get up and walk in the house. Come on, you like, buddy, we don't want to touch him because he's in shock and his skin is like all melted. And we look and his zipper is melted to his chest. It was so gross, you guys. Like, craziest, scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how homeboy's alive today. Like, he made a miraculous recovery. So once he gets in the ambulance, they rush him to the hospital. They then have to airlift him to Vancouver General Hospital. His heart stops like 2 or 3 times in the helicopter and when he gets to the hospital. And then they don't think he's going to make it through the night because his heart is burned. And I'm like, all day I was in the stupor. I just walked around in this daze. Like, I didn't know what to do. I just couldn't get this sight of him just frying out of my mind. I thought he was going to die. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm the one who asked him. He was just chilling with his girl and I asked him to come give me a hand. Like, holy, it was just killing me, man. And so anyways, so he makes it through the night, okay? His girl's there every day with him. And she comes back the next day and I'm like, how is he? She's like, well, they didn't expect him to make it through the night. He did. They don't know. He can't move. He can't talk. He might have to learn how to talk, how to go to the bathroom again, how to walk, how to do everything again. And I'm like, oh my God. She's like, we don't even know if because he was in a coma still. We don't even know if he's going to be a vegetable or not. I'm like, oh wow. And the next day she goes back and Cash comes out of this coma and doctors are like, wow, he's doing better than what they thought. And so he's got really bad like 3rd-degree burns. What happened was him holding the pole, the electricity put a hole right through his thumb and it traveled through his body and it came out his toe and into the ground. When the pole slid off the wire and I said he arced and he just blew into this ball of fire, well, a chunk blew out of his back like a shotgun fucking, sorry for my swearing, a shotgun took a chunk out of his back is what it looked like. But that's where the electricity came out, it just blew right out of his back. It was crazy. And all in all, he was in the hospital for 1 week. He was out in 1 week. He was walking, he was talking, everything was fine with him except for his burns. And he's still going through surgeries and skin grafts. I think they said he had to have like 12 or something surgeries and skin grafts just to get him looking normal again. His neck was badly burnt, his face. Like I said, that chunk that blew out of his back was huge. I don't know what they did there, but they did something. And the fact that he's alive is the only reason that I think I could tell this story the way I am. And you know, by the grace of God, that he's a fighter, because apparently he was in real bad shape, and he was on death's door one other time a few years earlier. This guy's meant to be alive for a reason. So Cash, if you're seeing this ever, man, hey bro, I love you, and I'm sorry about that, buddy. You know, so anyways, that's story time for me, guys.
So if you like the story,
we'll check you later.
let me know.
You know what to do.
I'd be happy to share more with you guys. If you guys can, please share the video. Help me out. Hit that like button, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you want to hear. Thanks.